G'day, I'm Daz, here to guide you through the absolute train wreck we call life in Australia. Grab a pie, sip your coffee, and watch me roast this place harder than the sun on a February arvo. I can't afford my own backyard anymore, but I've got opinions! Stick around till the end because I'm giving away a foolproof, government-approved plan to fix the tradie shortage. You'll want to hear the twist. Okay, so you've heard the whinge, mate. There's a tradie shortage. Can't get a bloke to build a fence or fix a loo. But what if I told you there is no tradie shortage at all? Or one, and it's government created. Explain this to me. Construction companies are toppling like dominoes. You've seen the headlines. One builder after another going bust. Projects left half done. Over 2,800 firms went bust last year alone. That's builders, contractors, the whole shebang, collapsing faster than a cheap camping tent in a cyclone. That's one builder going under every 3 hours. Yes, about 3,000 builders gone in 12 months, the largest of any sector, representing 27% of all company collapses in Australia. That's not a wobble. That's a faceplant. So naturally, you'd think there'd be a heap of tradies floating around looking for work, right? Then how the hell is there a tradie shortage? Where'd they go? I'll tell you. They hopped on the gravy train, government mega projects. What I like to call Tradie Black Hole projects that ate the workforce. So when you hear, we need immigration, we've got to import tradies because there aren't any left. Remember, they're not missing. Let me prove it. I will give you just 5 fat projects, when they started, when they'll finish, and how many boots they've hoovered up. Tradie Black Hole number 1, Sydney Metro West, New South Wales, Australia's biggest public transport project ever, bar none. Major tunnelling kicked off in 2023, targeted to open 2032. Yep, we got to wait a decade for those tradies to come back. Tradies roles tied up, 10,000 direct construction jobs plus 70,000 indirect. That's a whole small city of high-vis under the harbour. So if you're wondering why no one's available to retile your kitchen, it's because half of them are literally underground building train stations. Okay, let me translate. The bloke who went in as a 20-year-old apprentice will come out with a mortgage, 2 kids, and a dodgy back. If this cooked system doesn't make you laugh, you'll cry. So do me a favour, smash that like, so the algorithm thinks I'm employable. Tradie Black Hole number 2, Northeast Link and freeway upgrades, Victoria, Melbourne's biggest road build, and a Dyson for labour. Early works 2022, tunnelling fired up August 2024. Opening slated for 2028. Tradies roles tied up to 12,000 jobs across the program. Victoria's building its biggest ever road project, the Northeast Link in Melbourne. So essentially, thousands of Victorian tradies are tied up building this one road tunnel. Good luck finding a spare sparky in Melbourne. He's probably out digging under Bulleen Road. Tradie Black Hole number 3, Cross River Rail, Brisbane. Queensland's very own tradie sponge. Construction commenced the 19th of September 2019. Services now expected to commence in 2029. Tradies roles tied up, 7,700 construction jobs. Brissy's underground, and so are thousands of hard hats till decade's end. Half the city's in hard hats. You need a tiler? Too bad he's currently 30 metres below the CBD arguing with a jackhammer. Perhaps they'll emerge blinking into the sunlight once the line opens and realise people have been waiting on them to build houses. If you're liking the content, then hit subscribe, or your landlord will put the rent up another $50 just for fun. Tradie Black Hole number 4, Westgate Tunnel. Victoria's 7-year-long tradie detention centre, where hard hats go in and retirement plans come out. Construction began January 2018. Opening by end of 2025. Tradies roles tied up, 6,000 jobs. If you've poured concrete in Melbourne in the last 7 years, odds are some of it's here. Okay, let me translate. Billions spent, 7 years gone, and Melbourne still gets the same traffic jam. Just now with worse radio reception underground. Tradie Black Hole number 5, METRONET, Western Australia. Seems like METRONET swipes right on every sparky and chippy, leaving housing without a date. Construction began January 2018, opening by end of 2025. Tradies roles tied up, 10,000 jobs. METRONET's got every tradie in WA laying tracks to nowhere. Great if you're a train, not so crash hot if you just want a bloody house built. While Perth rail lines multiply like rabbits, their housing stock's multiplying like pandas, one every 5 years if we're lucky. So, you see what I mean? Add those up and you've got nearly 40,000 direct construction roles corralled by just 5 projects, not counting all the other big build bits, airport works, level crossing blitzes and renewable rollouts. Now, tell me again, there are no tradies. That's like saying there's no beer left while you're standing inside a pub. The shortage looks a lot like we've locked thousands of tradies inside publicly funded mega projects for the rest of the decade. Convenient, hey? Don't get me wrong. I am not against infrastructure or government-funded public facilities. In fact, I am all for it, but timing could have been better. It's like each state government is trying to compete and see who can hoard tradies like toilet paper in a pandemic. It's the classic case of the left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing, or maybe the left hand gave the right hand a wedgie and stole its tradies. You have to understand, this is the best case if we blow the budget, or there are delays, tradies could be stuck in these black holes for a few more years. Here's the stitch up. The public infrastructure pipeline is a $230 billion 5-year buffet. And the same official reports crying shortage also admit demand on these projects dwarfs the available workforce. I think roughly 405,000 workers needed and only 177,000 available at one point. So, translation, the government booked a wedding for 400 guests and only ordered 150 sausages. Moving on. So, after sucking in all our tradies, we got told that there's a tradie shortage. And then came the fixes. Brilliant fixes. Importing tradies. The visa circus. Now here's where it gets funny. Politicians go, oh no, tradie shortage. We need more workers. Quick, immigration. Fair enough. So who do we bring in? Bricklayers? Sparkies? Carpenters? Nah, mate. Uber drivers, baristas, and consultants. We've opened the floodgates to 500,000 newcomers a year, and bless them, but most aren't swinging hammers. They're delivering kebabs at 3 a.m, which is great for my stomach, but not so much for housing supply. Don't get me wrong, I love a late night kebab. But when my bathroom's flooding, the bloke with the Camry and Spotify Premium ain't gonna fix it, is he? So why the hell are we importing Uber drivers when we desperately need tradies? And now, the spicy bit, what happens when these projects wind down? The coming Tradie GLUT. Here's the kicker, folks. Right now, every tradie's tied up underground. But what happens when these mega projects finish? Around late 2025 to 2032, you're going to have thousands of local tradies plus thousands of imported ones all flooding the market at once. Today's shortage becomes tomorrow's glut. Wages collapse. Ute repossessed faster than you can say Hilux. Line outside Centrelink longer than the WestConnex toll road. We go from tradie shortage to oversupply overnight. And all those temporary visa holders? Clock runs out, PR not secured, and suddenly they're punted home. Thanks for your service now, leave your drill at the airport. Housing bubble? One pinprick away from collapsing like a dodgy scaffold. Ladies and gents, that's how you engineer a housing crash with extra steps. Now look, before anyone gets the wrong end of the spirit level, I'm not having a go at the migrants themselves. Most of them packed up their lives, left family behind, and came here on the promise of opportunity. They're not the problem, they're just caught in the system. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing, a roof over our heads, a fair go at work. If this mess gets sorted properly, maybe we can all come out winners, locals, migrants, and future homeowners alike. So tell me this, when the tradie shortage magically turns into a tradie glut, do you reckon housing finally gets cheaper? Or will the pollies find a way to stuff it up again? This is Daz, and no, I can't afford my own backyard anymore, but I've got opinions! See you next time. Yeah, legends.